Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. This is Mike Petty with Thermal Imaging Radar. Appreciate everybody joining us today. We're going to be having a webinar today on our trailer systems and talk a little bit about what our trailer systems will do for you. I'm going to align that here in just a quick sec, couple of mouse clicks and away we go. All right. Okay, there's that. We're going to move this over here. All right. Perfect. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. I think everybody should be able to see my screen now, so we should be in great shape. The point of our visit today is to talk about our trailers and our trailer systems and the value that they can be to your organizations in rolling out thermal radar and thermal radar hydra solutions into the marketplace. The hope here is that you will see there's going to be scenarios where wiring and trenching and things like that may not be the right solution, that putting a trailer in place is the solution. Also, the fact that when trailers are out, they can be easily moved and some things like that. So we'll kind of get to that as we discuss and talk through this right now. So, all right, I think we can start. Thermal radar didn't necessarily start out trying to be in the trailer business. We simply have a device that functions really nicely up high at about 25 to 30 feet, about 7 to 8 meters. And so because of that, we found that manufacturing and looking for some trailer options was in our benefit to do, especially with rapid deployment solutions or solutions that are going to be mounted up in the mountains looking for fires or on properties where wiring and trenching might have been a little bit tenuous. So the primary trailer that we utilize is this trailer that you see here. It's what we call our heavy-duty trailer, the 500W. First 500 watt solar trailer. This particular unit has a large enclosure at the base, and so inside the large enclosure at the base of the trailer, we are able to put some valuable components into there that make the streaming of this trailer much easier to do. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. This trailer is completely self-contained. The big solar panel that you see on the side of the trailer, just outside of the wheelbase, is a 500 watt solar panel. So you're going to be pulling in a tremendous amount of solar energy through that to charge the batteries. The batteries ultimately are what run the thermal radar and the hydra, and they're based on the solar pull from the solar panel. I'm going to have Dale Jones, who's with us, talk a little bit more about this trailer and some of the components that have made this a valuable tool for us. This trailer also has the capability to have guy wires to continue to secure the T-bar at the top. Now on that T-bar, we can add that T-bar, we can subtract the T-bar. Some of our customers have had value in putting lighting systems and things like that on this trailer. These trailers were actually manufactured primarily to do lighting systems and radio communication. Therefore, that T-bar played a valuable role. But when we came to them and found that this type of trailer was an option for us to use as a thermal radar and a hydra mounting and power solution, then it seemed to fit us very well. So the entire unit will fold down, and then can raise the mast up, and then there's a button that will continue to raise the mast up to a point of about 30 feet high. I don't believe the mounting or the mast can go higher than that. I would have to check on that, but typically our mounting is about 8 meters high, 20 to 25 feet high. You can actually set this particular mast at different levels. So if you said all we need is 3 meters or 4 meters, or you can lower it down to a smaller level. So this trailer has some functionality to that. I'm going to have Dale jump in a little bit here now and talk a little bit about the interior of the trailer and what the components are inside the trailer.
Thanks, Mike. Before we talk about what's on the interior of the trailer and what the components are of the trailer, I kind of wanted to go over a few key points of what the trailer does for you. There are a couple of things, like first, it's a controlled network environment. You have the entire unit built into the trailer, which allows you for complete control of the network. You don't have to worry about any additional jitter, any additional packet losses or anything like that. It's just completely controlled environment. You can remote into it and check on the trailer from any location. The only downside to that is you need to have cellular coverage in order to be able to remote in and get that signal out. Now, with that, there is an onboard PC, and so you don't have to remote into it. You don't have to have cellular coverage because everything can be saved on the onboard PC. Another reason that we really like the trailer is the quick deployment. To be able to set up the trailer in any location with the solar panels facing south in about 45 minutes, and that's putting on the Hydra unit, setting up the AOIs, and getting everything completely up and running to your specifications is just quick and easy and simple, and mobile. You can also move it to wherever you want to put it. If you decide that, say, you want to run a location for about a month and then you want to put it on another location for a month, easily able to move it with a vehicle or even with an ATV. It's really nice to be able to do that. It's rugged. It's built for harsh environments. All of the onboard equipment is ruggedized. And so, we're set up for -4 degrees right now, up to about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And we can even up the computer a little bit more to get to -20 degrees Fahrenheit in certain situations. And then the other point I'd like to make is the minimal maintenance. With a trailer like this, it's all self-contained. Everything runs on its own. You don't really ever have to do anything with it other than point it towards the sun. And so with the sun, you got great coverage. You get 260 amps out of the batteries. There are the 4 6-volt batteries in there, which creates about 260 amps of power, and that's constantly recharging with the sun. If you have cloudy days, we still get good, with that much power in the batteries, we get good voltages up to 2 to 4 days without sun, and we can also add battery banks if we need to, another 4 batteries if we need to. It has 12, 24 volts DC and AC. You can pretty much set it up to anything you need. For our configuration, we do 12 volts DC for the PC, 24 volts AC for the PTZ, and that way it just gives enough juice for the laser IR. And these trailers are customizable. If you have a specific need, if you don't need the Hydra and you're just putting on a thermal radar, it's very easy to set it up that way as well. Another part of it is the PepWave router, which gives us the access to have the cellular, the LTE built into it, so you can, like I said, remote into it or send signals out of it. It has a very low megabits per second that we're sending out of it if you are doing a remote connectivity. Then there's an Atom 6256, and if you don't know what that is, that's just an I/O board, but it's a networkable I/O board. So you basically plug it into the network that's built on board, and the thermal radar will tell it, which areas of interest are triggering, which then relates to or correlates to a relay on board. You can go up to 16 relays per Atom device, and they can link together. We have built-in PoE injectors into the trailer. That way we're controlling all the power to the thermal radar and to the PTZ, and then that just gives us that, again, going back to the controlled network environment where we don't have to worry about any outside traffic coming through on our network. And then, it has a solar charger, and it has two, so just to clarify, there are 2 300-watt solar panels on there, which we, series together and make 600 watts out of the panels, which gives us the ultimate power that we need. And we've never, in all of our testing days or even our customers, had an issue with it going down because of power or anything like that. And so we're set up to be able to run for months on end without having to go back out there.
No, I appreciate that, Dale. Thank you. Dale's definitely our technical advisor on the trailer. He works with it every day and knows it backwards and forwards. Now, one of our customers asked me, Mike, I've got a site where we think that the trailer would be valuable for us, but can we use thermal radar with a point-to-point solution so that we don't have to have the computer inside the trailer? We don't have to have this wired up quite this way. And the answer to that is yes. If you have a system where you're needing to place a trailer on a property, but you've already got a network on property where we can do a point to point, then I don't need to have, for lack of a better term, a comm kit that's in there to do all of the things that we're doing here. We can simply feed this right into your network and do it that way if you choose. So with that, I'm going to move on to our next slide. Let me grab real quick that. This next trailer is actually one that we manufacture here at Thermal Radar. It's an aluminum trailer, so it's very lightweight. This unit is all of about 400 pounds. And I don't know what that's in kilograms, but it's maybe 180 kilograms, something like that. That should be pretty close. But it's obviously a very self-contained and small unit, as it folds down very easily. But hauling this up into the mountains somewhere, or even putting it on an airplane. We've had customers of ours say, hey, we need to be able to have a rapid deployment solution for a tower that we can put on an airplane and get it, somewhere in the world very quickly. This kind of a solution would be that solution for you because of the lightness of the tower and the trailer. This particular unit has 4 battery banks. I think they're 4 12-volt battery banks, so pretty sizable power reserve. The unit can support a Hydra. As far as strength-wise, we've put the Hydra on top of it. In fact, the demo unit we have at our offices right now is on top of this very trailer. Obviously, it can hold a regular thermal radar, just the standard thermal radar. If all you're looking for is detection without the PTZ function of the Hydra. So if you're just looking for a detection solution, you'll see in the middle picture there towards the bottom, we've got a unit set up here in the mountains of Utah just to put up a wide perimeter and look for any kind of intrusion. But the outriggers that the unit has, this particular unit, are extremely stable. This unit we've had in winds of 70 miles an hour, and it did just fine. So this unit also can withstand some really, really powerful gusts and things like that with wind tension. So again, a very lightweight unit. Cost of this one is a little bit less just because it's not made really as rugged as the other device, but this one has more of a lightweight feature to it that, hey, we need to move this to certain areas or get it somewhere that we need an ATV or something to carry it up a mountain. So great trailer. A lot of the components can go in this trailer as well. It doesn't quite have as much room as the previous trailer we showed you to add a lot of extra things, but the basics can be put into this to make it a streaming trailer as well if you need that. So just a little bit of the reasoning why we need a trailer and why we need to be up on top of something. Thermal radar looks 360 degrees, so we need something that puts us up high and gives us a good vantage point so that we can look at each section of the 360 degree scale. So if you're thinking of if you've got a 360 degree area and I've got each 20 degree view that it's going to take to make a full rotation of our 25 millimeter sensor is going to be captured in this kind of a format. So we make various stops as the camera rotates. So the reason why we do that is we do what we call an inside-out approach. So we're able to put a single unit, a thermal radar, in the middle of a property, and that can be certainly on a trailer. I'm going to show you an example of that right now. The thermal radar trailer I just quoted several of these for a particular project, and I'm going to show you that project right now. Except it's not this one. This, again, a picture showing you the coverage area. This is at a substation. So with a standard thermal radar unit, the area of detection that you're going to get, the green line is about 300 meters, the yellow line 400, the red line 500, the blue line is about a kilometer away. We can actually go a little further than a kilometer on vehicles. But the red, yellow, and green are all for human detection. And we're going to have varying levels of accuracy at the red, yellow, and green area, but anything within green, we're going to hit almost 99% of the time. I don't think I've ever seen something that we have not been able to detect coming at us from at least 300 meters away. So Just a little bit of an idea there of our coverage capability. People ask us all the time, I wanted to discuss this real quick, they ask us why we're called radar. Thermal radar is not radar. We don't emit a signal from the unit to bounce off of a moving object out in the distance. What we are is a passive solution that is continually viewing the 360-degree area and landscape to detect any kind of a thermal change that exists out there. Once we are able to detect the thermal change, we use some very special mathematics to determine location. So based on where the camera is and the GPS location of the thermal radar unit itself, we are able to calculate to a fairly accurate location point where my intruder is. So from a perspective of looking to my left, looking to my right, knowing what's behind me, what's in front of me, that persistent situational awareness that thermal radar provides is truly unequaled in this industry. We've not seen a single unit in the market that will do what we do for the price point that we do it at, and cover the areas you need to have covered. So this is the location that I wanted to talk about. Recently had a customer come to us. They said that they were looking for coverage at some solar fields. So I went online and designed a system to do perimeter security for these solar fields. This was going to take 24 standard thermal type cameras. Each one of these block areas is pretty large. We're talking about gosh, I think it's about 800 meters in each side of the square. So pretty long distance coverage for all of those thermal cameras. But it was going to take 24 of them to cover all of the perimeters that we needed to cover in this slide. So to trench for all of those 24 cameras, we've done estimates that show that the trenching alone was going to be close to $30,000 per square area for this for this solar field. So you'd be talking almost $100,000 or more of trenching to make sure you had everything put together for these 24 cameras. On the flip side, to go to a thermal radar solution, we talked about putting 3 trailers in with total coverage for their perimeter, and the trailer cost was going to be less than it was to trench, and it was an immediate solution that they could stand up very quickly. So for us to ship the trailer, get the camera mounted on it, stand this system up, it would be less than a week's time versus 3-4 months of trenching and working and networking to get these kinds of sites established. So I think Dale said it very profoundly, that the rapid deployment nature of thermal radar and knowing that you have complete control of the environment, the network environment you're in total control of, really lends itself to making our solution, especially with the trailers, something that can be easily implemented very quickly at any location you might have. So I think with that, I think we had, just a couple of the things I was talking about, the unintrusive nature of the trailer. Some of our customers have come to us and said, look, we really like the idea of thermal radar. We want to put it on a customer's property, but for whatever reason, the customer's concerned about their network. They don't want their network impacted, whether it's bandwidth or any kind of intrusion they're worried about. So with a trailer, we can literally put a trailer out and be completely off network for the customer, but yet let the security firm do what they need to do to monitor the facility and keep an eye on what's happening at the location. So just I think some valuable information, to talk a little bit about our trailers. I do have some questions, I think. I was going to pull up our questions here. We'll move this over to our right. I have a question coming in. Let's see. How many trailers have been deployed today? Oh boy, I'll bet we've deployed 50. I'll bet we've got 50 units out. Well, I'll bet 1/4 of our thermal radar units have been deployed with a trailer. A lot of customers as far away as Japan. We shipped trailers to Japan. We have shipped trailers to South America. We've got trailers all over the world. So These have been out for quite some time. What kind of markets have purchased? Good question. What kind of markets have purchased these trailers? The quotes that I've got right now, a lot of these trailers are coming in the energy sector. So we're seeing a lot of power grid work, solar fields, and standalone yards where maybe there's an equipment yard or a laydown yard where they've got just a lot of equipment, maybe for windmills. We've got a lot of these big windmill farms going up all over the place, and they've got to have a place to store windmill equipment and blades and things like that. And this kind of a solution you can roll out to any kind of a windmill farm and have a perimeter stood up very, very quickly. So we see a lot of that. Obviously, border security is a big need and a big market for us with trailers, to put a mobile trailer up in a certain area to watch a certain area. Maybe it's a mountain pass, or maybe it's a valley that they've had a lot of trouble with. But border security obviously is a very big one. Airports, not as much. Airports typically are going to have poles and things like that scattered throughout the property, so we haven't seen a lot of it in that world. But we are seeing a lot in the utility sector. One of the reasons, another reason for the utility sector, is that they don't necessarily want this camera feed or the camera feed on their network at some of their substations. So they've looked for a solution that can, not impact any of their network capability at the substation, that it is a totally self-contained solution that they can tap into when it's needed. So yeah, just a few of those. Let me check and see. You can obviously purchase the trailers through Thermal Radar. We have them manufactured for us very specifically. We have them the comm boxes that are inside the trailer, we do, and we test and make sure that they match all the specifications we are looking for. And either one of the trailers, the lightweight ATV trailer or the heavier duty trailer that's got the 600 watts of solar. I think I said 500 watts earlier, but we're actually a 600-watt trailer. So, but with that, I don't see any other questions coming in. So hopefully you've learned enough about our trailers to think about locations and deployments where these might be helpful to you. Again, places where maybe you don't want to have to run power, places where you maybe don't want to have to run wire, and you can put up a trailer and either connect to it on the mobile network, or you can have a point-to-point directional antenna that can get you that camera feed to point back to wherever you're trying to get to. But the trailers truly have been a huge part of our business of keeping that thermal radar unit high in the air, giving it a great vantage point to look from. So with that said, I really appreciate everybody joining us today. We might be cutting out a little early on the webinar, but hope it was informative. Thanks for joining us, everyone. If you have questions, you can email us. You can email sales@thermalradar.com. That's sales@thermalradar.com, and we'd be happy to answer any of those questions you might have. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll get back with you soon for our next webinar.